Okay, I guess everything is ripe and ready to go. Well, I guess full disclosure, I watched this movie yesterday, so this wouldn't necessarily be my immediate thoughts. But I'm here with Ekin, so I'll kind of take the back seat and kind of let him say what he has to say first, and I'll chime in every now and then. Or whatever.
Definitely.
So immediate thoughts on Black Widow.
It was alright. I mean, I didn't have big expectations, mostly because there was kind of like, I guess leading up to the release, there's been like a lot of like feminists push or something like that. Like, men suck.
Well, I've realized we kind of live in this one area, and it kind of goes to both sides. And I guess you and I are a lot more in the middle on this than most people. But it's just like, on one side, it's like, oh, this is a feminist film, and this is this, and the men suck. And then there's anybody on the other side where it's, the second they hear the word feminist, it's like, oh, then it's immediately bad. And it's just like, there's nothing good about it because it's feminist. And it's like, and I guess you and I are more like, well, let's just watch the movie and see how we feel about it.
Well, yeah, I watch it as is and then take it from there. I don't want to
take what you get.
I take what I get. I don't want to just like, alright, just hate a movie just because so and so says it's
Feminism.
bad. And I mean, like, I can see, you know, for example,
there are elements in it. No, full spoilers, because there's a lot to say on this film. I guess. So full spoilers. There are elements of it where you're just like, okay, but then there are other things you're just like, well, I don't think sitting here watching this that this is a bad movie. Captain Marvel is a bad movie. X-Men Apocalypse is a bad movie. You know, I don't think this is
I still watch Apocalypse over Captain.
Yeah. Well, you're watching anything over Captain Marvel. X-Men Origins Wolverine over Captain Marvel.
Actually,
Origins Wolverine over Captain Marvel. You know what? I agree with you. But Captain Marvel is a bad movie. Is this a bad movie? No, I don't think anybody can rightfully say this is a bad movie. To me, there are things that are, I don't know a better word, but silly. And there's really a few things. Like one, Red Guardian's an idiot. That's just like,
and they literally don't even let him in on the planet.
And he's outright underutilized. He's a damn super soldier. You really don't see him do anything in the whole movie. That's one thing that's just a little silly. Another thing, Dreykov and his daughter. Ugh, we'll get into that. Dreykov and his daughter. Black Widow kills him, right? Or at least she thought she killed him. Kills him, and then we see how she thought she killed him in a flashback, but we don't even understand how. They never say how they survived. They just say that they survived. And you're just like, okay, that building, that explosion took down like a 5-story building. How are you and your daughter alive? Because we are. And it's like, okay, all right, you're alive, you survived, fine. You know, it's elements like that. At the very end of the film, after they took down the Red Room in the sky, and then Thunderbolt Ross and all them SHIELD agents show up to arrest her. Now we know they don't get Widow because she was with Captain America and Falcon at the beginning of the Infinity War to save Wanda and Vision, so we know they don't get her, but they don't even tell us how she gets away.
Yeah.
She just like, and the screen cuts to black, and 2 weeks later, and she got away.
I want to assume it was like a scratch my back, scratch your back situation, because I'm sure like the Red Room was like a big thing on SHIELD's list.
Right.
From the U.S. government's list.
Well, according to Widow,
I'm gonna take it down for like immunity for at least today.
Well, here's the thing though, but according to Widow, and I guess you can explain the story to him. This would have been good to see this, to show and not tell. But like, according to Widow, as a SHIELD agent, one of SHIELD's top agents, for years she thought the Red Room was done. So if she didn't know, SHIELD didn't know. So she was the one tasked, along with Hawkeye, to destroying the Red Room. So just like, well, I mean, I guess that was the whole Budapest thing. There are a lot of callbacks to Widow's character throughout this film. I like that one. Like when she was talking to Dreykov, it was like kind of like a callback to her conversation with Loki, where he's like, oh, I'm gonna act like I'm so distraught about everything you're saying, and then, oh, thank you for your cooperation. You gave me everything I needed. You know, oh, Banner's your play. That's your play. You know, kind of a callback to that. So there are things about the Widow character that we love in this film. There are things that are a little silly. Like, there were parts of this movie when I felt like this movie's making Black Widow seem almost superhuman. She's supposed to just be a peak human.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's just things. It's like, how is she surviving this?
I will say I did like that line. I was like, referring to Thor with the god of space. Like,
I don't think the guy in space needs to take ibuprofen after a fight.
Ibuprofen.
Yeah, and then like, and There are definitely things about this film that you can enjoy. A lot less comedy than most Marvel films.
Which, honestly, in my opinion, is actually a good thing. Because it's like, I don't need every Marvel movie to be Guardians
Of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's the problem with Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok, it's
Not a
too
Thor
silly
movie.
for its own good.
It's not a Thor movie.
In my opinion, Thor 1 is the best Thor movie.
Thor 1 is the best Thor movie, yeah. Guardians, I guess.
Like,
Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok is a good Marvel movie, but not a good Thor movie.
It's not a Thor movie at all. It's a good popcorn flick,
Yeah.
but it's not a Thor movie. This movie doesn't fall into that. It doesn't over rely on jokes, and therefore the ones that are kind of in the movie, basically mostly from the Red Guardian and stuff, or Lena White Widow, I guess is who she's gonna be.
I guess.
Like the little running gag throughout the film when she was critiquing the superhero landing, and she was like, when you land, why do you make these poses and you flip your hair back? And I'm like,
Because it's a thing. Captain Ginyu made it a thing.
They brought that joke up, and they didn't overuse that joke. But the moments they did bring it up, like the first time she brought it when it was in another convenience store, and then the second when it was at the gulag, and then Black Widow made her little entrance, and she's like, oh my god, another pose. And then later, Elena, lady in the movie, she kind of, I guess, unintentionally did one too. She was like, oh god, ew, gross, So there are definitely things about it that are very enjoyable. There are things, like I said, are a little silly. Some things aren't necessarily explained. Like I said, with one Dreykov and his daughter surviving, to me, that's like the biggest one. And we could just get to it. Not my Taskmaster. Not my Taskmaster. Not anybody's Taskmaster. This is no person that, Taskmaster is the cocky, overbearing, anything you can do, I can do better, never shuts up, always talking, nemesis to
That cocky
Deadpool.
attitude just not there at all.
Not there at all. I don't see Deadpool's nemesis in this. I don't see Just Like Cap or Aim a Hawkeye or any of that stuff. It's just, if you want Taskmaster, play Spider-Man PS4, play Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
He had a minor role in that. He still was better.
Much better. That's a much better Taskmaster in his minor role in that game than this. And like I said, back to things that are kind of silly when Taskmaster or Taskgirl was fighting Red Guardian.
And plus, no cape.
No cape.
0 to 10.
No cape at all. Yeah.
No cape.
Yeah, no cape.
Yeah, and they barely wore the hood.
Barely wore the hood. No cape. Didn't talk. And as a chick.
And didn't use the sword and the shield at the same time.
Didn't use the sword and shit
It
at
was
the same
either the
time.
shield or the sword.
And only used the bow and arrow for one scene.
Terrible.
Terrible Taskmaster. Outright terrible Taskmaster. I will say that. No defense of it. Terrible Taskmaster. And then no personality. It's a chick. No cape.
He wasn't even the final boss.
No bow and arrow. Wasn't even a final boss. And then there are things so the introductory scene in Taskmaster I thought was really, really good because you saw Taskmaster using the other Avengers ability. And then in the fight with Red Guardian, you saw her use Black Panther's claws and stuff. But at the very, very end, when she fought Black Widow for the last time, it was Black Widow just won her Karana and then she won. I'm like, oh hey, time out, this is Taskmaster. Is it that easy to beat Taskmaster? It's just what happens to copy your abilities? And normally to beat Taskmaster, Black Widow would do something like use a stun grenade or turn invisible.
The only time they really showed that was in that first introduction when he was fighting
the very, very first
when
time.
she was fighting she was fighting Black Widow. Literally was doing the same moves.
Yeah.
Doesn't do that the rest of the movie.
Doesn't do it for the rest of the movie at all. So
though I will say, I know that was a stuntman in the suit.
that was a
There
man.
was no way it was the same chick who was acting as Taskmaster, who had the role of Taskmaster.
No, because
The way he walked, that's a man walk.
it is a man.
He
And
stomped his feet.
that's not to be sexist or toxic, whatever the hell you're about to say.
The
But
stuntmen do a good job.
I can feel you typing on your keyboards. What do you mean it's a man's walk? Listen, when women walk, there's a natural sway to their hips. You can't correct it. You can't get rid of it. It's the way their body's designed. There's a natural left to right sway of their hips. You can tell that was a guy in a Taskmaster suit simply by how he walked. Because as men, we don't have a hip sway.
Not only that, but you can tell by the way, when men fight, they puff up their chest and, the shoulders all the way up here.
You can just tell.
You can just tell. That was a man. That was a stunt man
In the suit. Also to make Taskmaster look bigger.
Also to make it look, so again, because it's this whole big reveal thing. Because I kind of figured it out when it was like, oh, did you find the body? I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I already figured it out.
Yeah.
Halfway through the movie, I was like, oh, that's the guy's daughter.
A lot of callbacks though, you have Red Guardian talking about, but Red Guardian was awesome. Both your ledgers are dripping red, gushing red, kind of callbacks when Loki was telling you about, red in your ledger, the hospital fire, Dreykov's daughter, things that we were told haunts this character. you kind of get a little bit more insight to him. So there are some things throughout the film, like when Red Guardian's fighting Taskmaster. Red Guardian's a super soldier. Taskmaster is not. At the end of the day, you should not be able to overpower Red Guardian and throw him through walls and kick his ass and not a super soldier. It just shouldn't be possible. That's like a regular person. I don't care if you can't copy how I fight. That's like a regular person beating up Captain America. On a certain level, I'm just faster and stronger. Yeah, you know, like that's like Batroc beating up Captain America. Yeah. Now GSP could kick Chris Evans' ass any day of the week, but you know, Batroc beating up Captain America, that's never going to happen. You know, and it's like, so
he could get a few good licks in.
Yeah, but you know who's gonna win? Cap. Cap's gonna win.
Even without the shield.
Even without the shield. Yeah, that was Batroc. I thought you was more than just the shield. Cap, I can beat your ass without this thing, bro. Like,
just like, oh, let me take off my helmet and everything. Let's go.
The only time Chris Evans would beat up George St. Pierre in the fight. The only time. Ultimately, though, I liked it.
Yeah, no, it was alright.
I liked it. I didn't hate it. What do you think of? Because there's a lot of hate for this film right now.
Is there? I haven't really seen. I've been trying to stay away until I actually watched it.
Until you actually watched it? Well, I mean, like, there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, Black Widow's a terrible movie." And I'm like, terrible movie? No. Is it silly at times? Yes. But just because it's a feminist film doesn't mean it's a terrible film. You know what I mean? And I know Marvel outright came on and said this is like our Me Too movie. And I guess Drake's supposed to be Harvey Weinstein.
I mean, if you want to be the controlling women thing, yeah, sure, you can go with that if you want.
Yeah, Drake's
it's just like the perspective, your point of view on the film. It's like,
but to that situation, I get it. You know, like when Widow was telling him when she was trying to get him minor technical difficulties. Let me just fuck out for a second. Ain't nobody's there. But yeah, Black Widow was trying to get Drake off to break her nose to sever the nerve so she couldn't inhale his pheromones, among other things. And you know, she was like, "Oh, I guess you're too weak to do it. I got to do it myself." And she banged her nose into the desk.
That was actually pretty cool.
She could have knocked herself out cold from that. You know, that'd have been funny. But
that was a risk she was willing to take.
A risk she was willing to take. There are things like that. That moment though, when she was speaking to Dracoff, kind of like, you know, hey, you know, have you ever had a conversation with somebody that wasn't forced to talk to you? And I guess it's easy to be big and bad when you know you're just talking to defenseless little girls, stuff like that. I don't see anybody can listen to that and like roll their eyes at it. You know what I mean? Hey, I don't think this movie was trying to say like men bad, men evil, more like Dracoff bad, Dracoff evil. Like, right. I don't think this movie is outright trying to say man bad, man evil, this and that. No, I heard one thing say, like, you know, every guy in this movie is either evil, an idiot, or like a supporting character.
I mean, that one guy, the arms dealer.
Yeah, the arms dealer.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, he didn't get everything. When she needed something, he got it for her, but it wasn't like the best of quality.
The best of quality. Reliable, but unreliable.
Reliable, I guess. Yeah, he just got her a generator that barely worked 6 hours.
6 hours and it ran out. There were some instances of the action where, really, that big one for me was like on the car chase in Budapest. Where it was like when they kind of crashed into the subway, it kind of just the crash was so perfect, you know what I mean? It's like, how are they alive?
It hurt nobody.
You know what I mean? The crash was so perfect.
There's not enough collateral damage.
Not enough collateral damage. Unpopulated areas, I guess you do that. But ultimately, you know, it's just like I don't think this movie's bad. This is my second time watching it. Would you watch it again?
I'd watch it again. But I don't know, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again.
You wouldn't go out of your way to watch it again. There is a lack of tension watching this film because since we know how Widow dies in the MCU, so we know it doesn't happen in this movie. So pretty much like throughout the whole film, you can't help shake the feeling like, okay, no matter what happens, I know she's not gonna die.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like no matter what happens, even when she's like falling off the sky,
no parachute,
and you're just like, okay. And then what did she grabbed Taskmaster and used her parachute to land? I'm just like, all right. I knew you weren't gonna die from free falling 50,000 feet in the air because you know.
Free falling, yes. This movie.
Oh God. Free falling, yes. This movie, no. You know, and it's just. It's cool action, cool choreography. It felt very boring at times.
I kind of did with though, just being chased thing by like.
Well, even like kind of something like the camera angles. Sometimes the way the fight scenes were filmed, it felt very boring. Like especially that fight with Natasha had with Elena in her Budapest safe house.
Yeah.
It felt very boring.
Like, not a lot of necessarily like shaky cam, but definitely you can see it's like a boring type of spy, chased by shadow organizations.
Shadow organizations got to do a thing to get the thing done.
Yeah.
Do a thing
and
to
then
get.
You got to get information to find out more about the shadow organization.
Right. So to stop them from doing the thing.
Stop them
from doing the thing. There's some setup for Elena's character leading into the Hawkeye series.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, is she gonna be the antagonist in this?
In this series?
In that series, or is she gonna maybe she'll be the antagonist for like half of it, then Hawkeye and Kate.
Kind of like a Zemo role.
Zemo was there, but like he clearly, the ginger terrorist.
Ginger terrorist.
Ginger terrorist.
Now, where they lose me on that cliffhanger, I was like, okay, first and foremost, only one of two things happened. Either Hawkeye came back to Vormir and didn't say shit to anybody, or Hawkeye came back to Vormir and told everybody exactly what happened to Black Widow, right? Which means there's no way you can misconstrue or mistake him for the reason Black Widow being dead. Because if you would have said nothing, then you would have never known that he was with her when she died on Vormir. And if he would have told you, then you would have known, hey, I tried to kill myself, and then she wouldn't let me, and then she killed herself, and then that's how I came back with the Soul Stone. So how is anybody getting confused with Black Widow's the reason Hawkeye died? Either how do you know, or if he's told you how you misconstrued what he said.
I'm sure it's one of those things of like, well, the only ones that know about it didn't live to tell about it. The only ones who knew about it was two. The only one who lived to tell about it was one.
Yeah.
So, because Red Skull ain't gonna tell nobody, he can't leave.
Yeah.
So, what's it called? So when he came back, I'm sure he told the Avengers and he told S.H.I.E.L.D. what happened, whatever. But at the same time, the lady's name was Valentina.
Yeah.
She's not a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's some other shadow organization, I'm sure. She
works for the government.
She works for some type of Black Ops part of the government, whatever. Right. They do their own thing. I'm sure. So they're a different entity entirely. So I'm sure she could just easily, change information. And even, it's not like they're not used to being manipulated.
Right.
So, or they just have ways of manipulating people, even without the whole mind control thing that the Red Room would do. You can still manipulate people like that.
You can stretch the truth.
Stretch the truth. That's exactly what they're doing. So it's like, oh, well, Hawkeye was the last one to see her alive, so who's to say she actually really did sacrifice herself? Natasha isn't known to be doing that kind of thing. It's like, oh, clearly Hawkeye killed her.
I would say Elena Romanoff, probably the star of the film. A lot of good lines, a lot of good scenes. Probably my favorite character.
And she just stand out for sure.
She just stand out. Just little moments when she was in the car with Natasha. She's like, oh, what do you think of my jacket? She's like, so it was like, oh, I knew it. It's so cool. It was like, how could you?
Is that the same one she had in Infinity?
I think it was. It was the same jacket.
The movie was really the jacket origins.
The origins of Black Widow's jacket. The origins of Black Widow's jacket, I guess. She got it from her sister.
But I will say, where was the whole ballerina thing from like Age of Ultron with the Scarlet Witch flashbacks? We didn't see any of that.
I think there was like little glimpses of it during a terrible Nirvana cover.
Oh yeah. You know what? I might have zoned out because of that. I wasn't even watching. All I saw was just them kind of flashing.
DuckTales.
DuckTales. They were watching DuckTales.
That has nothing to do. I don't want to talk about it because to me that's not part of the movie. But in the opening credits, they did a cover of "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and it was so bad, and I was like, "Ew."
You know what I remember? Like thinking about it right now. Remember in John Wick 3, where he made that little, I guess it was the organization that he worked for. I guess it was another faction. The ones that trained like little girls. They were doing the whole ballerina thing with Angelica Houston or something like that. And what's it called? In the front of the stage, they were doing the ballerina thing, but in the backstage, they were training the assassins. I was thinking something like that was going to happen.
Red Room-ish.
It didn't. Or maybe they just didn't want. Oh, well, John Wick already did it.
Did the movie leave something to be desired, or do you kind of just get what you expected, or more did you expect?
I got what I about expected. didn't expect much, mostly because, like I said, the tension, like you said, the tension was gone. You know she wasn't gonna die in this one. So it's like, honestly, this movie for me is like, to the point where we are now with the MCU. It's like, if we would have never gotten it, I would have been fine.
I would have been fine.
The fact that we got it, it's cool.
Okay.
It's okay. It's like, it's not. I could have, cool if it exists.
For me,
whatever. If it's not.
For me, I enjoy. I didn't hate it, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
They also didn't need it.
Yeah, didn't need it.
And there are little things, like I said earlier in the video, some things were silly. Oh, and I get it, like with Natasha being a product of the Red Room herself, she feels sympathy for these other widows. But it's just like, there are instances in the movie, like I said, sympathy aside, it would have been so much easier for her to kill these widows that are chasing her. And we know Black Widow's not against killing people. But she's like, no, let me help you. I'm like, you're making your job harder right now. And I can't help but think that way. It's just like, I just killed a chick. Like, even with Taskmaster, the entire time, I don't want to hurt you. Like, she's trying to kill you. And I don't know.
It's literally your thing.
And then you're an assassin, that's your thing. And there's the whole CW Flash MacGuffin thing with the red guys that fixes the widows.
Oh, yeah.
No real explanation to how or why it does.
It just gets rid of mind control, almost like.
It's just like, okay, yeah, this is the thing.
But like they don't, even without the mind control, they still just know all their abilities. And
I guess it's just trained into them, right?
Like they know exactly who they are. Or they remember their past or whatever. It's like, just seems very convenient.
Well, Elena said it's like you're conscious while it's happening. You just can't control yourself. So which, don't get me wrong, incredibly convenient. But it's like, oh, you're conscious, but you can't control yourself. It's like, okay. Elena was great, though.
Well, my thing is, what if there are some girls that
like being widows? Well, what I told me, you can make your own choice now.
And then that's the thing. All the ones that were in the Red Room, that's not all of them.
That's not all of them.
So
no, they only freed really a handful of them. Because at the end, Widow, she found the computer.
They're all over the world.
All over the world. And then, that's why she told Elena and her mom, Elena, to reverse engineer the cure, make more, and go find them, set them free. But now they're all over the world. But Dreykov's there at the Red Room's is short, so nobody's giving them orders. So what are all these other widows doing right now? And I can only assume by the time Infinity War came, they have fixed the widow problem, or maybe that's gonna bleed into the Hawkeye series.
I don't know. I have no idea where the Hawkeye series is gonna go. I have no idea about that.
Well, it gives me a little bit of hope. Because I think now I feel like Clint's going to be more involved than I thought he was going to be originally.
I mean, he's definitely in the show. There's no way they're just going to steal it from him.
Kate Bishop, main character. Clint's a side character. That's how I thought they were going. I was like, Kate Bishop's the main character. His daughter's going to be the main character. And then Clint's is going to be there for like the first episode and the last episode. As old man Hawkeye.
One arm?
I think you're thinking of Green Arrow from Dark Knight.
No, didn't he have a one arm in Old Man Logan?
Oh, wow, yeah, so who did that first?
I mean, I think they both did the one arm thing.
They both did the one arm thing.
Oh, we both, do arrow. Both
Archers with one arm.
With one arm.
Any encompassing thoughts, any final thoughts, conclusion, anything about the film?
I mean, I would say
it's no Winter Soldier.
No, it's not a Winter Soldier, but definitely go see it for yourself.
Like we always say, go form your own opinion. Like I think we've said that consistently, like Tomb Raider, Birds of Prey,
Yeah, because I mean, it's if anything, it's at least entertaining.
Yeah, I don't think
won't be bored with
I don't think you can be bored anymore unless you go to this movie wanting to hate it.
Oh, then yeah, if that's the case, then you're not gonna like it. If you already go into it not gonna like it, then you're not gonna like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say.
Sometimes you just have to go in with an open mind. I just say, if you have any reservations about the film, just go in. Don't expect the best MCU movie.
Even though the commercial said the greatest Marvel movie of all time so far.
Yeah, I don't listen to them critics.
Is this a Whammon movie?
I mean, it is, but it's not like it doesn't have to be a bad Whammon movie.
Is it more Whammon than Birds of Prey?
I don't know. I'll probably sound like this one a little bit better than Birds of Prey.
Right.
You're probably not, just because you're biased with Harley Quinn. Well, say
Yeah, I'm not the best person to ask that question.
Yeah,
I'm not the best person to ask it.
I'd say like
If it has Harley Quinn in it, I love it.
I mean, as far as the plot goes, I'd say this one better than Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, I can agree with
Because, you
that.
know, it didn't necessarily have a MacGuffin. I mean, the gas was kind of a MacGuffin, but it was more so.
You know what? I do like this movie more than Birds of Prey. The plot, the action, even the characterization. Because Birds of Prey had not Cassandra Cain and not Black Canary and not Huntress, even though I did like Huntress in the movie.
I mean, her origin, but you know, they just really just this and this. Still not as bad as Katana though.
Oh god, this is Katana. Yeah, don't get me started. Yeah, you know what? And that's really all to be said about it. Like, just go watch the movie. I don't think you'll hate it. If you're getting stuff in your algorithm, like I am saying how terrible this movie is, don't necessarily listen to it. There are people who will talk about how it's not really accurate to comic books, and that's also the truth. But you know, it's the MCU. They're gonna do their own thing. There's really nothing you can do about it.
If anything, catch you on a matinee.
Matinee.
Morning price.
Early morning price, $6.
Yeah, if you're not, definitely don't give Disney those $30.
Don't buy this on Disney Plus for $30. Don't do that. I will tell you to not do that. That would be a waste of your money.
If you want to go see this movie just to go see it, yeah, just do a matinee.
Matinee. It's a good time to alcohol required.
Alcohol required. Yeah.
I must say. All right, guys. This is Office. Have an idea.